Most people may not be aware that a lot of the practices in Buddhism are designed to help someone achieve spiritual growth and to help someone ultimately achieve enlightenment in their life, right? And there are many things written about in Buddhism that one can absorb some, you know, relevant knowledge here in designing your life path, figuring out what your life purpose is and what possibly you may be doing here. All right. Now, some of the core beliefs of Buddhism contain the Four Noble Truths. So, these Four Noble Truths are truths about life that Buddhists kind of involve in their core. And the Four Noble Truths, the first one is that life inherently involves suffering, right? Some people believe that you can live a life without suffering. This is not true. Nearly everyone's life includes suffering, dissatisfaction, and impermanence. That means nothing's permanent. Most people aren't satisfied, right? And most people encounter some type of suffering in their life, right? Now, you can kind of prove this to be true because, in everyone's physical life, it includes the process of birth, aging, illness, death, and even the separations from loved ones. So, when you keep this into account, you can see that every person's life kind of involves some type of suffering, right? People are born, people pass away, people kind of separate themselves from family. When you keep that in mind, you can simply realize that almost everyone encounters some type of suffering in their life. Some people encounter more than others, but the fact of the matter is, nearly every person, no matter what their background is, encounters some type of suffering and dissatisfaction, some degree of suffering and dissatisfaction in their life. Right. Now, the second of the Noble Truths is the origin of suffering. So, Buddhists write that there is an origin to this suffering, right? And the origin of this suffering comes from craving, attachment, and possibly ignorance as well, right? Now, what do we mean by that? We might mean that there's a guy who might have a craving for gathering as much money as possible, who might have a craving to buy, a whole bunch of luxury cars. He is simply attached to the idea that he needs the physical thing. He needs the luxury car. He might need that luxurious life place to live. He's too afraid to lose the money. He's too attached to the money, right? And naturally, when someone becomes overly attached to someone or something, it can lead them down a path where if they become separated from said thing, it can lead to that life of dissatisfaction that we've discussed before, right? When someone is overly attached to someone or something, if they were to lose that person or if they were to lose that something, it can lead to unhappiness and dissatisfaction into the person's life. So Buddhists believe in the idea of you can love someone, you can love things, you can love money, you can love physical things, you can love people, but it emphasizes the importance of staying detached, right? Because it stresses the idea that nothing in this life is permanent except for the soul, right? Nothing in the physical world is permanent. Therefore, it's wise to remain detached and keep in mind that no matter how much you've accomplished in this life, there is such thing as there's always a time that's going to come when you got to let it go. And that time comes for everything in the physical world. Now, the third of the Noble Truth is the cessation of suffering. So they describe a state of liberation known as nirvana, right? And they describe this idea to eliminate and to end suffering. By eliminating craving, by eliminating the attachment you have to money, eliminating the attachment you have to a luxury car, eliminating the attachment that you have to be with a specific someone for the rest of your life, and it has to be that person. Eliminating the idea that, you need that specific thing to happen. Now, once you detach that you don't really need the thing. You're going to be all right regardless. You begin to live free. You begin to reach that state of liberation they discuss, where you begin to see suffering from the main causes of suffering, and that's attachment. You can be a guy who loses money one day. It might not affect you that much because you're not attached to the money. You realize it's going to happen. You can lose people in your life. They can choose to go away for whatever reason, or might be their time. But, you know, if you stay detached, you might still feel a type of way, but you'll realize that time was always coming, right? And we never really prepared for when it's time to let things go. And it's best to remain detached in that way. Now, they also describe the fourth noble truth as the path that leads to the cessation of the suffering. And they describe this as the noble eightfold path, right?